this year. Some people like that. For me, and the purposes of the videos, trying to predict winners makes my life a lot more difficult. Actually, it is way too hot for me to be wearing this sweatshirt. Hold on. Alright. That is much better. I don't know what I was thinking with that, but okay, so we have all of our games here. Now I'm going to do something I usually don't do. I want to start at the bottom here, Commanders versus Bengals, because I just watched this game earlier today, and I have some opinions on it. So the Bengals lose this game. Final score is 38-33. The Bengals are cooked. They're simply cooked. I looked at the stats. There has only been one team since the year 2000 that has started the season 0-3 and made the playoffs. One team since the year 2000. And this Bengals team, I honestly think that them going to that Super Bowl a few years back was the worst thing they could have done, because it means Zach Taylor's job is far safer than it should be. I got this one wrong, by the way. I predicted that the Bengals would win. Their defense is genuinely terrible. Like, their offense is good. They scored 33 points. Joe Burrow had 324 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that should be good enough to win a game in the NFL. But with his defense, it's just not at all. And that's a problem, and I think that the Bengals are cooked. I think T. Higgins is probably going to leave this offseason. I don't see how I don't see how they get better going forward. There's so much money tied up in Burrow and Chase, and the results just aren't there. I don't know if you can even go for a rebuild at this point, but it's a really sticky situation right now for them. But on the other end, this Commanders team, they have now gone 2 weeks without punting, which is crazy. Seeing the resurgence of Austin Eckler was really nice. He got a touchdown this game. He had a few good carries. Jaden Daniels is really good. He might end up being the best rookie out of this draft class. Obviously, we haven't seen some of the guys yet. It's all still super, super early, but he is the early front runner for this quarterback class. And what I really liked out of Jaden Daniels was a couple things. So obviously that like 50-yard pass to Terry McLaurin, that was a beautiful pass. He dropped back. It was like perfect arc. Came right down into the breadbasket. Touchdown. I don't think that one was the touchdown. He had another pass to McLaurin later. That was a touchdown. But that was one of the best passes I've seen in a hot minute being thrown from him. But there are multiple times where his dual threat, his run game, got them out of sticky situations. But what I noticed about Jaden Daniels and what I really liked was late in this game in the fourth quarter, when the Bengals were kind of coming back a little bit. It was like a 6-point game. So the pressure is on Washington a little bit. And it was like 6, maybe 9 minutes left on the clock, something like that. Jaden Daniels, he led a very good drive, and he was making veteran reads, so he wasn't letting the pressure get to him. In that big moment, a lot of rookies, you have that big moment, closing minutes, a tight game, that's where rookies make mistakes. But he wasn't making mistakes at all. And he converted I think there were 2 fourth down conversions, maybe just 1 fourth down conversion. And he killed 6 minutes off that clock before scoring. 6 minutes that offense burned. Like, that's veteran quarterback type stuff, and I was extremely impressed with Jane Daniels' boys. Not to mention his quarterback ability, but he was composed under pressure. All of that, and the Commanders look really, really good. And this Bengals defense looks really, really bad. And I don't, spoiler alert for when I do my predictions in a couple of days, I don't think they beat the Panthers next week. This defense they just don't look good at all. Their rush, pass rush and run stopping is just bad. The Commanders are 2-1. They haven't punted for 2 weeks. Jaden Daniels, I want to say in my draft video, my mock draft, he was the quarterback that I was the most excited about in this draft. I believe I said that. I want to hope I said that. Jaden Daniels, 21 completions on 23 attempts. 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Joe Burrow, 29 for 38. 324 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Like I said, Joe Burrow, he had a good game. It's not his fault, but just the team around him. Okay. Patriots, Jets. I predicted the Jets here, and they did get the win. 24-3, so yeah, I knew the Jets would be good after week 1. They lost to the 49ers, but in my mind, there's nothing bad about that. They look good doing it, and they've now got back-to-back wins. They get this win in blowout fashion. That's now after their week 1. What was it? The Times. He has an upset defeat of the Bengals. The Patriots have now lost back-to-back games. I think it's maybe looking more and more clear that was an issue with the Bengals being bad. Kind of going back to the days of old for the Bengals, perhaps. But I had 21-point blowout here for the New York Jets. Jacoby Brissett, 12 completions on 18 attempts, 98 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers, 27 completions on 35 attempts, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Broncos versus the Buccaneers. I predicted the Buccaneers to win here, as did basically everybody. Buccaneers were a 5.5-point favorite with a 40.5 over-under. So this was a huge upset win here for the Broncos, who get their first win of the season. Bo Nix gets his first touchdown of his career. It's a rush. Or did he already have a rushing touchdown? He still doesn't have a passing touchdown. I'm not sure. This might be his first touchdown in general. But this is a bad loss for the Buccaneers, losing to this Broncos team that most people, after how they looked the first bit of the season, did not have high hopes for. Bo Nix, 25 completions on 36 attempts, 216 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Baker Mayfield, 25 completions on 33 attempts, 163 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Now this was an upset that I predicted. This was one of my upsets for the week. Now it looks like the odds tightened as it went along. Houston ends as a 1.5-point favorite. The Vikings win this one 34-7, but I was really happy I picked that upset there. It has to be said that Flores defense, there's people leaving comments. I didn't really buy it. As I've said in the past, I can sometimes get locked in my ways for longer than, I tend not react too strongly to new information. And like I said, I thought that Addison was going to be a bigger loss than he ended up being. But the big thing is this defensive system. They hide their motions and everything so well. They force the opposing quarterbacks to really make a lot of guesses. But I mean, the emergence of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold had 4 passing touchdowns. Sam Darnold, I think, is the early and obvious favorite for comeback player of the year. Right now, I can't think of who else would be more deserving than Darnold. I don't know, maybe I'll come to it, but right now I think Darnold is the obvious comeback player of the year favorite. Just a blowout win for this Vikings team against, the Texans are still one of the Super Bowl favorites on Vegas sports books. Those long shot things don't move too much. I think the 49ers are still in the top 4 for Super Bowl odds, even after their slow start to the season. This was a big statement win for the Vikings. Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson just have this sort of natural chemistry. I almost said charisma, that's not what I meant. This natural chemistry, which, sometimes it feels like it could take quarterbacks, years to develop that with one of their wide receivers. As far as the Texans go, this is one of the worst games from that offense I've seen in a while. They were 4 for 14 on 3rd downs. They only had 38 rushing yards. 2 interceptions. Just overall not a great day for that offense. CJ Stroud, 20 completions, 31 attempts, 215 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Sam Darnold, 17 completions on 20 attempts, 181 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and I am fully here for the reemergence of the God Emperor quarterback of the United States. Coming into Chargers versus Steelers, I picked the Steelers to win. But I said that the X factor in this game that I thought could sway it into the favor of the Chargers would be Joe Alt. 'Cause he's such an impactful blocker on offense. And not only do they lose this game, the Chargers, they also lose Joe Alt. He has a sprained MCL. Justin Fields, that's who I was thinking of. Justin Fields is another candidate for comeback player of the year. That's actually interesting. Who deserves it more between Darnold and Fields? That's a hard call. I think it might depend on where their teams finish out the season. And if Fields ends up eventually getting benched for Russ, which at this point I don't think you can do it. But if they had a patch where they lose 2-3 games, maybe you do. But theoretically, Darnold could get benched too. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so Joe Alt, he's down with an MCL injury. He'll miss some time. The Chargers do lose this one. Quentin Johnston continues his sophomore season resurgence. He had a touchdown this game, but he only got 44 yards off 2 targets. The Chargers offense honestly just really struggled in this game. Fewer than 200 combined yards. 20-10 is your final score in favor of the Steelers. Justin Herbert goes 12 for 18, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Justin Fields, 25 completions on 32 attempts, 245 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 interception. Eagles, Saints, I picked the Saints here going into this week. The Saints, they were looking like the best team in the league. It's funny as there's one of those shows, I don't know if it was Cowherd or somebody had the Saints at number 1 in the power rankings going into week 3. But that offense, which had been humming all season long so far. It comes to a grinding halt. They only put 12 points on the board up against the Eagles. Derek Carr comes back down to earth. So this is the Derek Carr I know and love. The Derek Carr of week 3. This is what I was expecting week 2. Because Derek Carr always does this. He has one good week. Then the next week he's terrible. And he fools you. But he got the long con on me this time because he had 2 good weeks in a row for the first time in his career. And I was like, hold on. Derek Carr's a changed man. No. You pulled the wool over my eyes on that one, Derek. I see what you're doing. But I do feel good Saquon Barkley. After last week, so many people blaming him for last week, even though he was killing him on the ground. Probably should never even pass the ball to him in the first place on that play. He gets 2 touchdowns this week, 147 yards. Just totally redeemed himself, Saquon Barkley. He's a guy I've always liked. I like that he's thriving in Philadelphia. But 15-12 in favor of the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, 29 completions on 38 attempts, 311 yards. 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Derek Carr, 14 completions on 25 attempts, 142 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Alvin Kamara comes back down to earth a bit. No touchdowns for him this week, only 87 yards. Which is a far cry from what he was doing the first 2 weeks of the season. I realized I didn't capitalize the T. There we go. Packers versus Titans. I favored the Packers to win here, and they did, even with their injuries and such. Malik Willis, he came in, he had actually a very good game. He had a rushing touchdown to start the game. Will Levis threw yet another pick 6. I think this is his second pick 6 through 2 weeks of the season. 3 weeks of the season, 2 pick 6s so far. Not a great start, which is weird because I thought Levis looked better than this last year. It looks like he's honestly regressed a little bit. A lot of quarterbacks look like they've regressed a little bit this season, though, so it might just be defense is getting better. I know there's the whole thing with the 2 high safeties, and there's some people, they want the NFL to ban having 2 safeties high. I don't think that'll go anywhere personally, but we'll see. The NFL does know what pays the bills, though. If viewership starts to dip down because touchdowns are down, then I think they might ban 2 high safeties. Player final scores 30-14, all equals 13 completions on 19 attempts, 202 yards, 1 passing and 1 rushing touchdown, no interceptions. Will Levis, 26 completions on 34 attempts, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, one of which being a pick 6. Titans start the season 0-3, a brutal season for them. They were probably hoping to see a little bit of improvement from last year, but so far things are looking even worse in Tennessee. Giants versus Browns. I took the Browns here. The Browns also are such a yo-yo back and forth team. Week 1 they looked absolutely terrible. People were saying cut Deshaun Watson, blow up the franchise, like everything. Like it was like Armageddon in Cleveland. People were like, we're ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Week 2, bounce back win. They looked convincing. Deshaun Watson has a good game. And then this week they lose to the Daniel Jones New York Giants, who people were saying is going to be a historically bad team. So I really, like I said, this continues to be such a weird NFL season. I still can't tell which teams are good and which teams are bad. And we're 3 weeks into the year. Like, the 49ers look like they might be one of the worst teams in the league, but then I know there's going to be a week that comes up where they're going to dominate somebody. The Chiefs are 3-0, but Patrick Mahomes is having like one of the worst seasons of his career. But yet they're still Super Bowl favorites. It's just weird. I hate this season already. It's so unpredictable. Giants 21, Browns 15. Daniel Jones, 24 completions on 34 attempts, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. Deshaun Watson, 21 completions on 37 attempts, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. Giants win by 6. Cleveland was a 6.5 point favorite. Bears Colts, in my opinion, this looked like the best opportunity for the Bears to finally get a victory. I picked them to win, but they did not do so. This really felt like a game they could have, maybe should have won. Probably Caleb Williams' best game so far. I do feel like he's getting better every week. He threw for almost 400 yards. He did throw 2 interceptions. Richardson had a bad game, threw for 2 interceptions. But this is the thing, Caleb Williams had 363 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns. The opposing quarterback did not throw for a single touchdown, and the Bears lost the game by 5. If you're not winning this game, what game are you winning? I don't know. 16-21 in favor of the Colts. Caleb Williams, 33 completions on 52 attempts, 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Anthony Richardson, 10 completions on 20 attempts, 167 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 attempts. Honestly, this is a brutal loss for the Bears. They should have won this game. Dolphins Seahawks, I was shocked at how comfortably we won this game. I did predict us to win this one. The Dolphins obviously are dealing with some issues at the moment, but I did not expect it to be this comfortable. I do not think in recent memory, since like the Legion of Boom era came to an end, I have been this stress-free watching a Seahawks football game. We cruised to victory. There was never a second in this game where I was like stressed, on edge. I didn't feel the need to stand up and pace. I wasn't swearing at my phone. Like, that's usually my Seahawks viewing experience. It's usually a very negative experience, very bad. But comfortable win. The defense looks absolutely amazing. Really, the only issue I have at this point is the offensive line. I think if we could square up that offensive line, if we can get that figured out, that we would be a top 10 team, top 5 team in the league. Right now, we are number 4 in ESPN's power rankings. I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't know. I think we could maybe be top 8. Seahawks have the 5th overall offense in the league, 2nd overall defense, 2nd in DVOA. Just overall, I'm really, really excited about this team. There was something. Yeah, Tariq Woolen. So far, where are we seeing it? So far through 3 games, 0 passes have gone Tariq Woolen's way. Not a single quarterback has challenged Tariq Woolen down the field. He completely has his man locked down. 0 passes his direction through 3 weeks. Absolute beast on the defensive end. We are lucky to have him. 24-3 in favor of the Seahawks. Skylar Thompson, 13 completions on 19 attempts, 107 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Geno Smith, 26 completions on 34 attempts, 289 yards, 1 touchdown, which was a 71-yarder to DK Metcalf. That was electric. 2 interceptions. And quickly, I need to clear my throat. Okay. Panthers versus Raiders. Now, I predicted the Raiders to win this. But I said, I made a note in the video, it is the funniest possible outcome if Andy Dalton wins this game. because it's going to cause a complete meltdown in Carolina, and lo and behold, Andy Dalton wins this game, and he wins this game comfortably. Because again, this Panthers team does have talent, and this Panthers offensive line is really good. And Andy Dalton just threw for more than 300 yards behind that offensive line. That week 2 was the second best in the entire league. I haven't seen where they ranked this week. So the funniest possible outcome did happen. And I don't think Bryce Young is going to play for this Panthers team ever again. If Andy Dalton lost this game, I think he had a path back. But the minute Andy Dalton won this game, I'm like, nah, it's over. Bryce Young is going to be traded this offseason to somebody else. It's just over. 36-22 in favor of the Panthers, and like I said, book it. The Panthers are going to beat the Bengals next week. They're going to. And sports media is going to erupt. Like it's going to be a cacophony of hot takes. Not even going to be hot takes. Andy Dalton, 26 completions on 37 attempts, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Gardner Minshew, 18 completions on 28 attempts, 214 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Ravens versus Cowboys. I said Ravens have to at some point bounce back and get a win. I predicted them to win here. They did. I said, no way. Ravens start the season 0-3. I thought the same thing about the Bengals. I thought, no way, they start the season 0-3. But, this Ravens team just has too much talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball, to be 0-3. Really, they probably should be 2-1, but 28-25, they do beat the Cowboys here in a close one. In a game that, honestly, Lamar Jackson was pretty quiet, at least through the air. Lamar Jackson, 12 completions on 15 attempts, 182 yards, 1 passing, 1 rushing touchdown, 0 interceptions. Dak Prescott, 28 completions on 51 attempts, 379 yards, 2 passing and 1 rushing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 49ers Rams. I took the 49ers because, of course, and it was looking like they were going to win this game until the fourth quarter, when you have 13 unanswered points on the Los Angeles Rams. And they win this game by 3, 27-24. And the San Francisco 49ers are 1-2. They are at the bottom of the NFC West. And again, the Super Bowl odds are slow to react to this stuff. I think they're still top 4 for Super Bowl odds. But the 49ers are not the 49ers they were last year. Ayuk continues to be an issue. I think they're sorely missing Christian McCaffrey at the moment. The offense is far less dynamic with him out there, or without him out there. And like I said last year, Christian McCaffrey is the pressure release valve for Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy doesn't have that pressure release valve at the moment. And the thing is, too, is honestly, Purdy didn't even play bad this game. He only had 8 incompletions, but 6 of those were his wide receivers dropping the ball. So only 2 of those were misses or overthrows, what have you, by him. So Brock Purdy had, nearly a perfect game. I think I already mentioned Ayuk continues to be an issue, continues to be hurting the team. And the defense this does not look like the type of defense that the San Francisco 49ers historically are known for. They're known for a tough, hard-nosed defense, and that just doesn't seem to exist for them right now. And the Rams, they came back into this, Matthew Stafford, in that fourth quarter quarter was a beast. And then a 37-yard field goal for the 3-point win. Brock Purdy, 22 for 30, 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. Stafford, 16 for 25, 221 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. Lions, Cardinals, I picked the Cardinals. I thought they were going to carry their momentum from last week into this game. It was going to be an upset win. But they had so much swag last week. They were just dancing on the field. And honestly, even though they are 2-1, the Lions, specifically Jared Goff, make me nervous. But the Lions went out this week. They got it done, 20-13 in their favor. Jared Goff has 18 completions on 23 attempts, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Kyler Murray, much quieter than he was last week. No Steph Curry type moves. 21 completions on 34 attempts, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Chiefs Falcons, there was a point where I was like, ooh, the Falcons look like the better team here pretty early on. I kind of was looking, I was like, oh man, the Falcons, they might have this one here. In the fourth quarter, I was like, oh, they might come back, because Kansas City could not score the entire fourth. Young Haku gets the field goal, pulls it within 5. That whole fourth quarter, I kept thinking like, oh, the Falcons might win, but they never just had the extra little bit to get it done. The Chiefs do end up winning that year. Like I said, the Chiefs are 3-0, but this is the Patrick Mahomes does not look good this season, it must be said. He threw another interception this game. I think that's like 4 or 5 interceptions for him now through the first 3 weeks of the season. It is like, that's the most interceptions he's ever thrown in his career this early in the season. And I saw this video and I am kind of inclined to agree. The Chiefs used to be like, even if you were neutral, you didn't really hate them as much because they played exciting football, and I mentioned that in my video when I talked about my opinions on other NFL teams. But they played exciting football, Patrick Mahomes would scramble, throw sidearm passes, things like that. But this season, they just haven't done that at all. They're playing very boring football. Like, Patrick Mahomes is throwing a lot of short check down passes, move the chains 3-4 yards in the chains. It's just boring. Like, all that flair and pizzazz from the last few seasons just isn't there. So it's not as exciting, as a neutral fan. And he does look worse this year. Butker probably has the most points of anyone on the team so far this season, but I don't know, it's really weird. I don't know why their offensive philosophy has seemingly changed, but it definitely seems to have. Mahomes, 26 completions on 39 attempts, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Kirk Cousins, 20 completions on 29 attempts, 230 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Now I come to the Jaguars Bills. This was one of 2 of the games that were on today. I originally started watching this one, but as I saw what was happening in the Commanders game, and we got closer and closer to the end of halftime in this game, I quickly shut this one off and switched over to the Commanders game because the Jaguars are done. Stick a fork in them. They are worse than the Bengals. This Jaguars team is going nowhere fast this season. Buffalo Bills came out to a 13-point first quarter lead. Didn't look back. Went to halftime up 34-3. And the Jaguars in this game with 10 points for the amount of talent on this team. It's just unacceptable. They have the pieces. Now this Bills team, in my opinion now, this Buffalo Bills team is my favorite to win the Super Bowl through 3 weeks. I think the Chiefs, even though they're undefeated, they look shaky. Patrick Mahomes having the worst season of his career. interception-wise. And it seems like some of that magic is gone. His flair is gone. Whereas Josh Allen is feeling himself. He is styling on it out there. Josh Allen, 23 completions on 30 attempts, 263 yards, 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdown passes for Josh Allen. And, speaking of interceptions, Josh Allen's interceptions are down. He would throw a lot of risky 50-50 balls in the past. It was one of the biggest criticisms of Josh Allen. That's pretty much gone. He's not turning the ball over. He's making safe passes, but still playing an exciting game, throwing the ball deep, just carving up defenses, and it is fantastic to watch. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 16. So, for 50% this week. So, it's 3 weeks in a row now of basically being at 50%. So that makes me 25 out of 48. So if I go to my calculator, 25 divided by 48, I am at 52% so far this season. It's not a great start. I think I still have room to turn it around. I'm kind of just treading water at the moment, but I think next week we'll have our first slate of buys. So we'll start spicing things up a little bit, but like I said, this NFL season remains wholly unpredictable. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Jaden Daniels is the GOAT. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.